life story video part 3. So, to the ones of you that got my message and understood it, congratulations. The rest of you that were too stupid or too dumb to get it, well, bless your heart. That's about all I can say. I don't know what else to say to you. If you did get the message that says, don't be a dumbass and fuck with drugs, then you're probably already high anyway. So, the day of the trial, I just got sentenced to 35 years, 15-5 and a 15 running wild. And for all of you that didn't hear it the first 5 times, it was for possession of methamphetamine with intent to manufacture, 15 years. Possession of ephedrine with intent to manufacture, 15 years. Possession of oxycodone, 5 years. Which, funny thing was, at the time, I didn't even know what the fuck oxycodone was. It was in a bag that my partner had that I took when I took all the shit out of his house to save him. That's the part I never told nobody. What I got busted with, I was actually going over to my partner's house to get all the shit out of his house that he said they were coming in on him. We weren't ever supposed to have anything in our house, but he did, and then he dropped a dime on me. So, to get himself out of trouble. Anyway, so I just got sentenced. Judge says I give you 30 minutes to meet with your family, and then you're basically remanded to the custody of the sheriff's department. So I go to the back room. A friend of mine, John Snodgrass, holds open the window, holding the keys to his Mustang, and says, jump, you can't do 35 years. I looked out that window. It was a 2-story drop. I said, dude, I'll break both my legs. He says, it don't matter, you gotta run. He was all upset. Everybody was upset. But I had a plan. I had a 69 Nova that I had just had a 427 Doug Dash 5-speed, and I just put a 256 gear in it. So my brilliant ass, I was gonna run, of course. Had about $40,000 in cash in the glove box. Had a friend of mine, told him where to put the car at on the other side of the courthouse. Of course, I'd set somebody down to tell him what had happened. So the car's sitting there and it's ready to go. And we're walking towards the jail. And I look over at Johnny, I say, hey, I need a distraction. So he's trying to hit the fire alarm with his hand to break the glass, but he's so upset that he's hitting everywhere but the fire alarm. So I tell my older brother, I said, hey, I need a distraction. Well, he starts ranting and raving, and this ain't fair, this is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. We're still trucking. I got my son in my arms. My wife at the time, first wife, she's walking beside me. We're getting closer and closer to that elevator that takes you right down to the jail. And I lean over to her. I said, you got to go down. She never blinked an eye. She fell flat. Bam. Bam. I bent down beside her. I'm talking to her. I've got my son, who's a year old, in my arms. Now, the undersheriff at the time was a friend of mine who tried to save me from myself many times, and I just didn't listen. So I got my son, and I look at Joe, and I hand him my son, and he said, James, don't. I said, I have to. Off I went. So I jumped one flight of stairs, which was not very, very good idea because I wasn't gonna run down them. So I jumped, landed at the bottom. I shoot out the door. Just as I'm going out the door, 2 deputies are coming in. And I hit one deputy, and I catch him under the chin with my elbow. And then I hit the other one. I don't even remember exactly how, but I hit both of them. I shoot out the door, and there's a 300-pound, and I'm not exaggerating, 300-pound woman right in my way. Instead of knocking her down, I scoop her under the arms, turn, and set her down on the ground. Well, by then, that forced me to change directions. So I ran out of the front of the courthouse, ran around the side. I run to the back of the alley where the car was supposed to be. I look across. The car's sitting on the opposite end of the alley. I'd been up for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. Smoked 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day. was wearing fucking penny loafers or Italian loafers or something, I was out of gas. About that time, when I turned that corner and I seen the car, I heard the sirens and I just put my hands up against the wall. Did that. That's it. Waited for them to come cuff me. So that was the great escape. So when they pull chain, every so often they pull people out of the county jails to go into the penitentiary. Since I was a high risk escape, they pulled chain in like 5 days and sent me to A&R receiving, where they shave your head, put you in a jumpsuit, take all your shit, and then you do your assessment. I'd never been in trouble before any of that, so my assessment was low, right up until they filed escape from maximum security with injury. The bad part about it wasn't either one of the deputies who I knew both of them personally. I felt really bad because one of them, it jacked his neck up. The one I caught underneath the chin with my elbow, it messed his neck up pretty bad. But the injury was actually the 300-pound DOC Department of Corrections woman that I sat down. She filed a workman's comp claim. So while I'm sitting at A&R, where I should have went minimum because I was a first-time offender and all that, I'm going maximum security. The walls. 23-hour lockdown. Real prison. What you see on TV. The real deal. And then the DA files charges for escape. So when I left the courthouse, when I walked out of my sentencing, I had a 15, a 5, and a 15 running wild. By the time I left A&R, I had a 15, a 5, and a 7, and a 7 pending. Because that was the 7 years. I was going to get added to my time. I found guilty of escape. But you really can't deny when I did what I did, because I did try to escape. So when I'm sitting there at A&R, they got no room at the walls. They're saying his point security is 2 points. He should have went minimum, but he hadn't actually been found guilty of escape, even though I was going to be found guilty of escape, because I did it. They gave me a maximum override to medium security. And usually you're in A&R for like 2-3 weeks till they find you a spot and ship you. I was there for 58 days because they had no place to stick me. Didn't go minimum because I was an escape risk. They didn't have room at the walls, which was maximum, and so they overrode me to a medium, sent me to Planet Granite. Granite is that's straight up just like what you see in all the movies. It's a cell house, rack the gates, the whole 9 yards. So when I'm sitting there in A&R and I'm thinking, well, you really screwed up. And that's when I had my attorney come down and see me, and he told me the story about the boat and all that. About, I sent you the boat, sent you a speedboat, and all that. The other time that I'm sitting there and I'm doing the math on it, and I'm like, I'm going to spend the rest of my adult life pretty much in the penitentiary. I'm going to be run. I'm going to be done. I ain't never seeing my wife again, never seeing my kids again. And I decide that that was the worst thing that could possibly happen, was that day right there. That's not the worst thing that could possibly happen. Trust me, it's not the worst thing that could possibly happen. While I'm in A&R, I get woke up to the goon squad, guys with the shields and all that shit, rolling in a cell 5 deep, hollering my name, telling me to put my hands behind my back. I didn't even know what the hell was happening. So they four-corner you, which is actually they tie you up, guss you up like a pig, and have me sitting on the floor. Fixed actually put boots to me is what they were fixing to do. And I told the captain, I don't, what the hell did I even do? And he said, well, striking an officer was the worst thing you could possibly do. I didn't strike no officer. Well, I guess I did. The officer came in, and I looked over and I see this officer got a big old swelled up knot on his head right above his eye. And I said, I never hit him. He's lying. I never hit him. Well, I guess there's a policy that they're supposed to stand at the door and holler your name till you wake up. So the captain looks over at the officer and says, "Did you touch him while he was asleep?" He said, "Yeah, he wasn't waking up." Because like I said, been up for about 5 years. So I was catching up on some sleep. And I guess when he shook me, I jumped up, pow, 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 and went right back to sleep. So then I was getting stuck at A&R, and they're talking about filing charges on me for that. And I'm thinking, holy shit, this is just getting worse by the minute. Then they send me my assessment, tell me I'm eligible for cap time and all this. So I get 105 days a month good time, plus level 4, 44 days. I do all the math on this, like I told you guys before. 17 and a half years is what it was going to take on level 4, no write-ups for me to get out of it. For me to get back home. And I decided, you know what, this ain't right, this ain't fair. So I almost, when I hit the yard at Granite, I thought, you know what, I'll be here for the rest of my life. I'll just make it my life. An incident happened at Granite. Guy walks up, I go up to the property, I go to get my shoes, and I'd have my wife send me brand new Levi's and some new Nikes. There just happened to be a black pair of Nikes with the blue swoosh. And I walk across the yard, and guy turned around and goes, "Hey, so what size are them shoes?" I looked at him, kind of laughed. I said, "Yeah, my size." He said, "They look like they're my size." I said, "No, they're my size. I don't know what size you wear, but they're my shoes, they're my size." He said, "I'll be by later to get them." So when I go up, you call it your house, I go up to my cell. Great big white guy comes walking by, lightning bolts on his neck, throws a knife on the bed, says, "You need to handle your business." I said, "Dude, I ain't stabbing nobody in here." He said, you're either gonna have to handle your business with him, or he's fixing to handle it with you, because he's coming to get those shoes. Everybody on the yard already knew about it. So, needless to say, statute of limitations, everything's ran out on this. It's exactly what I did. We went down to the showers, and I ended up stabbing him 14 times. Because it was either him or me. And that's when I realized that the last thing that I want to do is spend the rest of my life in here fighting for my life every day. This was not the life that I wanted, and I was going to do whatever it took to get out of there, short of having to tell on anybody. That's it. As long as I didn't have to tell on anybody, so I started studying all the programs that were available, the Lifeline drug program, and I started signing up for everything that got you an extra day. Daily living skills, VOTEC. The VOTEC class, guys, is where I learned the carpentry, where I took carpentry. I'd never done construction in my life. That's how I was able, when I got out, to go to work for a construction company, become a superintendent, and basically end up where I am today. So when I say, if I hadn't went to prison, I would have ended up dead, I mean that. Because I carried a gun for me and one for you. That way, if I had to shoot you, I could always holler self-defense, because I carried one to put in your hand after the fact. But when that incident went down over a pair of tennis shoes, it twisted something inside of me that made me decide right then and there I wasn't going to run buck wild. If I was going to have to do that 17 years, I was going to do that 17 years, and I was going to try to take every extracurricular, everything I could do. If they gave good time for it, I signed up for it. And that's when I went to the VOTEC class, became a tutor over at VOTEC, took the Lifeline drug program, and that little incident right there is what made me turn the right way instead of the wrong way. Because when you go to prison, you got one or two choices. When you're sitting with a rack of time like I was, you're like, well, you know, what I got to lose? I'm going to be an old man when I get out of here anyway. So Might as well just say screw it, do what I want, when I want, run buck wild. If it hadn't been over that pair of tennis shoes, and me and that guy facing off in the shower, and that going the way it went, that's probably the route I would have went. But when I thought about how cheap life was in there, that over a pair of, and back then, that was like a $60, $70 pair of shoes. That and he lived, it didn't kill him, but it jacked him up pretty bad. And it could have just as easily been me. Because, to be perfectly honest with you, I got the first good shot in, and that's what dictated how that whole fight went. And the bad part was, I had 30, 40 guys standing there, and that's what they're wanting to see. They're wanting to see a killing. So, if you guys didn't get what these were about, that no matter how bad things get, it could always be worse. And the decisions that you make today could affect your life and everybody's life around you for the rest of your life. Now, I'll go back in these next videos and I'll tell you some shit that I got away with. Some of it's funny, way fucking out there sideways crazy, but it was kind of a rush to turn around and beat them like I did the times that I did. So I'll tell you guys some of them stories later on. But for now, there's part 3.